Today's learning target is I can evaluate simple algebraic expressions. There are a couple of terms that I'd like to go over with you here first. The first one is variable. And a variable is any symbol, and usually in math it's a letter, but it can be any symbol, and it represents any amount or any number. So in this case, this n means some number. Another term that I want to go over is algebraic expression. Okay, and this is an example of an algebraic expression. In an algebraic expression, we have a variable, and we have a number, and we have some operation that we're going to do. In this case, it's adding. It could be subtracting, dividing, multiplying, any of those. When you have that, it's an algebraic expression. And this is called algebra. So when we have math that includes algebraic expressions, that's algebra. In this algebraic problem, we can see that we are going to evaluate 8w minus 2v if w equals 5 and v equals 3. And algebra is kind of like a puzzle in that you have to kind of fit pieces in where they belong. So first off, let's take a look at this 8w and what this means. So 8w means we have a variable here, and that's w. It's going to be some number, and they're telling us what that number is. It's 5. So we have 8, and in math terms, if there's no sign in between the number and the variable, that means we're going to multiply. Okay, so I can show that a couple of ways. I'm going to put it in parentheses. That's another way to show that. And just a kind of side note, this when I have that, the 8 is called a coefficient. Okay, so if you ever hear the word coefficient, it's the number that's next to that we're multiplying your variable with. So then I have minus 2, and then there's a v here, and I can see that the v equals 3. So I'm going to put that 3 in, so that's times 3, and I just showed you another way that I can show multiplying. It's just like that. Okay, now I remember from my order of operations that I'm always going to do my multiplying. I'm going to do multiplying before I do my subtraction or adding here. Okay, so if I want to solve this, I'm going to take 8 times 5 is 40, and that's minus, and let's see, 2 times 3 is 6. Alright, and so now it just becomes a simple subtraction problem, and I know that that's going to be 34. Now let's take a look at this one. It says evaluate each expression if a equals 4 and b equals 3. So again, just kind of like a puzzle piece. So these are two separate problems. Let's do this one first. I see that a, the variable a, equals 4 and b equals 3. And I'm just going to do like this to show that I'm multiplying those, because remember, no sign means I multiply. Now remember, this is the fraction sign. You've learned that, but it's also the division sign. So I'm going to divide that by 2. So now I know, remember my order of operation, goats eat mushy apples. Okay, I'm going to do my grouping signs first. Okay, in this case there is a grouping sign, but it's not a problem there. I just did that to show that it's multiplying. There's no exponents, so I'm not going to do that. So now I go to my multiplying and division, and I go left to right here. Okay, well in this case, I'm going left to right, but it's 4 times 3, and then I'm going to divide it by 2. So left to right means I do this first. So that means I have 12 at the top. 4 times 3 is 12. Okay, now I'm dividing that by 2. And when I do 12 divided by 2, 2 goes into 12 6 times, and there's no remainder. So 6 would be my answer. In this next one here, I see 2a squared plus 5. I want to find out, I want to evaluate that, or I want to solve it. So first things first, I'm going to put my puzzle pieces in. So I have 2 and a equals 4. So I'm going to do this, and I know that's square. I'm going to times that. I know that's squared. Okay, plus 5. So what I've done here is I've placed in, I figured out what my variables should be. I've placed those in. So again, I go back to my order of operations here. So my groupings, okay, first grouping, there's nothing within my grouping here, it's just 4. Now I move to exponents. Well, there's an exponent right here. It's the squared. Okay, so I'm going to do that. So 4 squared. I know 4 squared is 4 times 4 is 16. Okay, and now I'm going to just fill that in. Okay, so now I've done my exponents. Now I'm going on to my multiplication and division. So in this case, I see multiplication 2 times 16. I know if I double 16, that gives me 32. Or if I wanted to, I could do 15 and double that. That would give me 30. And then I'd have to add 2 more because I'm taking 16 instead of 15, and there's 2 16s. Adding 5 to that. And once I solve that, 32 plus 5, I get 37. So 37 would be my answer.